Welcome to the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast.
Hi, I'm David Manti, and welcome to a new episode of the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast. With me this week is Charlie Weiler, Banking Sales Manager at LeafLink. Thank you very much for joining me today, Charlie.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, David. I appreciate it.
Before we get started, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You could also help us out a lot by leaving the podcast a positive review on whatever platform you use. If you want to email the podcast, you can reach me at david@cannabisequipmentnews.com with email the podcast in the subject line. Charlie, I always like to start with a little bit of background. I found your journey pretty fascinating, but could you tell us in your own words how you wound up working in the cannabis industry?
Yeah, 100%. So I went to University of Arkansas, and when I was about to graduate, I had a job lined up to sell insurance, and I thought that would always be a great fallback. And I had a family friend reach out to me and say, hey, I have a company that's looking to get involved in the cannabis space. And I'm from Kansas City, as you can probably tell, big Chiefs fan. Would you be open to interviewing out in San Francisco? So moved out to San Francisco to start working for Dama Financial, and it's been an amazing ride. And so I have never looked back. The cannabis industry has been obviously a roller coaster, but the best roller coaster I could have ever been on. There's so many amazing people. I love hearing about the ups, downs, and hopefully everyone continues to go up, but it's just been an amazing journey.
Well, I did notice that you're a bit of an entrepreneur as well. Is it true that you started your own shaved ice business?
Yes. So in late high school, going into college, my brother and I always wanted to be entrepreneurs and start our own company. And we found a shaved ice trailer on Craigslist, took a small loan out from our parents and purchased it. And it was actually wild. We got into all the major theme parks and sporting events in Kansas City. So Oceans of Fun and Worlds of Fun. And then we were at Chiefs games. We were at the Taylor Swift concert, Jonas Brothers concert, KU basketball games. And it was all the NASCAR. We were slinging ice. It was awesome.
How much ice do you sling at a Taylor Swift concert?
We actually were on the news. It was one of the hottest days of the summer. It was 106 degrees. We had a line, probably 50 people long, just trying to get shaved ice before Taylor Swift. And it was one of our best days ever. We killed it. And I am now a big Swiftie because she joined Chiefs Nation. So just happy to support her and love it. Love what she has going on.
When did you decide to transition away from that business?
So the shaved ice was stayed in Kansas City. I had to go to Arkansas I chose to go to Arkansas for college. And at the end of the day, my brother ventured into commercial real estate. I didn't have enough time with different jobs I was taking to keep up with the Snow Cone Company. So we ended up selling that the summer before I started working for Donna.
Okay. So How is cannabis finance like Slinging ice?
That is a great question. I would equate it. I would say it's very similar, where you got to just put yourself out there and you'd be amazed on the amazing people that you can meet. So, for example, we found this director who was in charge of one of these events at Arrowhead Stadium, and he got us into all the other sporting events in Kansas City, and it's identical to the cannabis industry. There are so many amazing people out there, and if you have a great quality product, they want to use you for other businesses and refer you to other people. And so it's identical in that place, where as long as you have a great product at a great point, everyone will want to work with you. Everyone's super excited about shaved ice. Everyone's also super excited about cannabis. Everyone loves talking about it, bragging about it, trying new ways. So I love learning about people's businesses too, as they're growing too.
In the cannabis industry, what are some of the ways that work for you to get that foot in the door?
Yeah, I would say cold call by far is the best. And when I'm having these conversations with people, Originally, it was more of explaining how Dama can help, but it's really understanding their business needs first and foremost. So everyone has different journeys that they need within cannabis banking, cannabis financing, and managing their money. And so once we identify that, that's how we can custom tailor the solution for them. So whether it's an MSO, they have dozens of entities, they operate nationwide, or it's a one mom and pop operation in New Mexico. We can tailor our solution for everyone, and we work with them to make sure that their business has the right tools to succeed.
I mean, that makes sense. And I think part of that makes that interesting is that you kind of build a personal relationship with each client just because you're trying to figure out the right mix for what works for their company.
Yeah, 100%. And what's interesting is, so we've been doing this for a little over 8 years. And what we're seeing is within these new markets, a lot of people don't know what options they have for cannabis banking. And so we want to go in and we just want to let people know, hey, we operate fully electronically, but we are in your state. You can have a safe place to put your money. You don't have to worry about your account being shut down. You don't have to open an account with Chase, Bank of America saying you sell candles. You can have a compliant cannabis business bank account. And we believe that everyone should have the same access to banking, whether you're cannabis, selling cars, doing whatever. The cannabis industry deserves the same amount of respect as just as any other industry. Yes, there is an extra layer of due diligence, but we handle all the compliance for them so they have a safe place to deposit their funds.
What are some of those unknown options? And are some of those options unknown because really cannabis banking stays fluid, let's say?
Yeah, so I will say there are a couple big players in the game. So Dama Financial, I would say we are the largest. We service over 1,000 customers nationwide.
Yeah.
And some people, we are seeing these newer markets. There's some smaller credit unions, there's some smaller banks. They're trying to get into this space that either one, they'll have lower fees, or they don't gather the amount of due diligence in order to keep the account open. So in some established states, we have seen some larger banks crumble because they didn't keep up with the compliance. They weren't passing FDIC insured reviews. And so with our program, we are kind of the gold standards. We make sure that we follow all the FinCEN and banking guidelines in order to keep the accounts open. So we want to make sure that we do everything we need to keep the accounts open just so these companies can continue to grow.
As you jumped into cannabis banking, how would you describe your time in the industry and how the changes that you saw and how you adapted to them, to stay sort of ahead of the pack?
Yeah, 100%. So when we originally got started, I've been with the company for a little over 5.5 years. And I remember when we started, our application was extremely long. The process was very drawn out and very meticulous. Now we've been able to add more resources, add more personnel, and be able to streamline a lot of that. So from our onboarding time has been the time to open an account has decreased dramatically so customers can open accounts faster. But also, we've added a lot more tools to make it easier for businesses to operate. So, business debit cards, secure credit cards, smart safes, which we'll talk about in a little, interest-bearing accounts. So, stuff that businesses should have access to, but most banks don't offer it because they just need to offer the depository account for these cannabis operators. But they have cannabis operators, if they are given the right tools, they can do anything. But to go back to your original question, it has been a wild change since I first got started. I mean, from a lending perspective, we don't handle lending directly, but people are saying they were trying to get loans at 20%, 20 plus percent interest rate, which is wild. But now there's a lot more access to loans. And I will say it's been interesting seeing just companies rise and fall. As sad as it is, there's been a lot of big companies that have fallen. But what I've realized is you got to be able to go through the mud to see the sun. So a lot of people, they do go down, but if they stay with it, they will go up. So it's been fun, especially for the clients that have been with us for a while. Hearing them call and just say, our business is growing, we're doing great, we want to add more accounts, more products. Those are my favorite calls because they're surviving in the industry when it's so tough with all the regulations and compliance that goes into it.
Well, and with those rises and falls, there are also acquisitions. Dama was acquired by LeafLink. How has life changed after the acquisition?
It has been phenomenal. I will say, not to sugarcoat it at all, the Leafling team has been amazing. And so they have a great foundation, a great platform, and an amazing team to help support the banking platform. So nothing has changed within the banking platform. We still offer and provide that great quality of service, but the future is so bright. So there's going to be a lot more product offerings that we're going to be rolling out later this year and beginning of next year that we're beyond excited about. But what's great is they have our backing. And so what was really great about it is they fully understood the Dama Financial business model before they made any changes. Now we know what the best path moving forward is. We're putting our best foot forward. And like I said, the next 365 days are going to be pretty exciting.
Well, in that next year, and you got to let me know when those new products drop because we want to cover
Yeah.
that. Over the next year and maybe a little bit longer outlook, how would you describe the state of cannabis banking right now?
The state of cannabis banking is fluid. So there's obviously been the Safe Banking Act, Safer Banking Act, and other guidelines that have been trying to pass. But what I believe is that everyone should have access to cannabis banking. And so I think we have a great grasp on that and we have a great program. There are other banks that do it very well. And so my biggest thing is as the market and industry continues to grow, we should continue to provide more products. So money markets accounts, the Smart Safe is a great way for people to get money in their account faster, mobile apps, and just it should be evolved and it should be as close to as any other industry, whether it's high risk or not. That's where the cannabis industry should be from a banking perspective.
Have most of the bad actors been shaken out of the industry?
I would say so.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, everyone wants to do right. But at the end of the day, these companies have so many hurdles with the amount of compliance they have to do. We just want to make sure that everyone has the same opportunity to bank.
Mhm.
Yeah, but there's also some great options out there too.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about today were smart safes. I had a chance to check out some of the technology at the last MJ BizCon, and I was very impressed. For those that don't know, what is smart safe technology?
Yes, so the SmartSafe is an amazing product, which allows operators to get cash into their bank account faster. So imagine your dispensary. You need to get cash into your bank account to pay bills, do payroll, renew your license, get more inventory, anything you could possibly need. It's a physical safe located at the back of your store. It looks similar to an ATM. Your bud tender essentially takes the till, goes back to the under store, types in their number in the keypad. It counts 8 bills a second, detects fraudulent bills, and stores the cash physically in your safe. Now, Dama Financial, we front a provisional credit to the business. So even though the cash is still physically located in the store, the money's in their bank account. So they can expand their business at a faster rate. And then when the safe gets 80 to 90% full, we automatically schedule an armored car pickup to come pick up the safe. And then they will unload it. They can reload the safe at any point.
It seems like you're kind of taking out some of the common pain points as to when it comes to dealing with cash on a day-to-day basis.
100%. And so when we first implemented the smart safes a couple of years ago, one of our largest clients purchased two smart safes. They can hold 15,000 notes. Notes is just a physical bill size. That's the capacity of it. They purchased two, and their time to count and end of day reconciling went from 3.5 hours down to 30 minutes every single day. So the amount of time you're saving with employees counting cash, the amount of money you're saving from theft and fraudulent bills exceeds anything that you could ever think of. And it really just does help operations streamline their cash.
How many operators are using smart safe technology right now? What's the market penetration like?
So I would say roughly 25% of our clients have smart safes. Now, within that, it's not only limited to dispensaries. We have cultivators, manufacturing, and wholesalers. It's pretty much anyone handling large amounts of cash uses our smart safes. So it is a common misconception. Well, I'm not a dispensary. I don't need a smart safe. It is a great resource. And so we have insurance for the safe. We have a great customer support for the safe. So if anything goes wrong, they're well taken care of. And
I
it
mean,
is
that,
physically bolted to the ground. So it's not like someone can come up, load it in their car, and haul it off.
oh no, we definitely got to cover the smash and grab angle of this. But I am curious, when you mentioned cultivators, manufacturers have smart safes on site as well. What was the decision? Why did they decide to bring them in house? Because you're right. I think there is the common misconception is that I'm not a dispensary. I don't need one.
Yeah. And so within that, I think cultivators and manufacturers are always wanting to make sure that they can get paid. Obviously, as a banker, we encourage people to move money electronically. That way you can all track everything and it's just in there right away. Well, if these dispensaries don't have bank accounts and don't know they have access to banking, obviously we want to help as many people as possible. But if we have a cultivator that does have a bank account and they're selling to, let's say, a wholesaler or a dispensary that doesn't, the only way for them to get paid is by cash. And so some of these larger operators, they will deal with six figures in cash on a weekly or a monthly basis. And so they need to get that into the bank account to continue just to be able to operate.
Man, I mean, you got to make sure that given the note capacity that they're paying at least in big notes.
I know that's a big thing. Yeah. And you don't want to fill it with ones, but at the end of the day, what's really nice is it takes all the human error out of it. You essentially take the stack of bills, feed it in, 8 bills a second, and you'll know shortly. And we have an amazing dashboard for you to see who is depositing what, the whole total amount deposited, when it was deposited. And so very easy from any level, especially for dispensaries when they can essentially take their point of sale report, line it up with the Smart Safe report, and it should line up down to the exact dollar.
Is it one way only, cash in, or is it cash in, cash out?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there is the electronic Smart Safe, but we also have a product called the Recycler, which essentially allows you to deposit cash into the safe, but also it sets money aside for you to have it till for the next day. So it depends on how you want to operate. You can do both, or you can have one or the other, but the Recycler allows you to have a till set aside. We don't, for the Smart Safe, you can't take the money out once it's been in there because we front the provisional credit. You don't have to have the provisional credit, but it definitely is a massive benefit for operators.
Okay. When you start listing all these services, I mean, one thing that comes to my mind is costs. So, what kind of costs are people looking at when it comes to bringing smart safe technology in house?
Yeah, so you do have to purchase a smart safe, and there is insurance for the safe and service for the safe. We do custom tailor the package for the operator, so depending on how many safes they need and if they currently have insurance for the safe, so the cost can be variable. But roughly, it is a couple $1,000s to purchase a safe, and just a couple $100 for the insurance, for the customer service, and the pickups would be included. So,
Yep. Okay.
yeah.
Is
So
it like oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, it just depends on what everyone's needs are.
Is it like a subscription service?
It is not yes and no. No, that it's not. I should say yes. You do have to pay for the insurance and for the customer support, but just make sure that if anything breaks, you're taken care of. And then if someone takes a baseball bat to the smart safe or tries to haul it off, that all the funds are insured. But the insurance policy covers up to 300,000, so everyone will be well taken care of.
Okay. I mean, So then my next question was on pain points. I guess taking a baseball bat to it, that's a pain point. What are some
Yeah.
other pain points that people experience? And, is there the potential for, someone trying to pull off the, really well thought out heist of trying to drag it out of there?
It would be extremely difficult to haul a smart safe out. It is drilled into the ground, pretty much impenetrable. Um, and within the pain points, there's little to none. Um, it really does give operators a lot more flexibility with cash management. And like I said, just getting into the bank account fast enough so they can grow. The only downside I could think of is a little learning curve if they're not setting a till aside. But normally we try to coach them up and just say, hey, make sure that you have enough money for the next day's till. But if they're just planning on putting all the cash into the safe, I don't see a downside. And then from an insurance perspective, they are well covered. Obviously, there are some bad apples out there that love to try and figure out the system. These things are pretty impenetrable. So, but that's what I love about them. It makes everyone feel safe about their cash, even though the cash is still physically in their building. They know that they have already earned the cash in their bank account.
How are people trying to cheat the system?
I mean, there are people trying to do fraudulent bills, but it's a fraudulent bill. So there's no getting around it. I mean, I wish I could tell you, but
No, I was just curious. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it all in terms of like,
yeah.
hey, we told you don't do that.
Yeah, well, to be fully transparent, we had someone take a baseball bat to a smart safe, but the insurance policy covered it. They got their safe fully repaired and operational, but we did not someone cheating the smart safe system, but actually helping out the operator. So a year and a half ago, we had a dispensary owner say thank you for encouraging us to get the smart safe. We found out an employee stole over $30,000 from us. And so what they realized was from the time that they finished their till at the register to the time till they got the back room, they were taking a little cash and putting it in their pocket. And so from end of day reconciling, they had no way to really verify what was getting in the back room. But once they went back, it was over $30,000 that one safe was doing over a 6 month period.
Oh my
So
goodness.
when you're looking at the opportunity cost, I mean, it is so worth it. I hate to think of bad apples out there, but like I said, once you take your point of sale report and line it up with a smart safe report, you should know down to the exact dollar. Everything should line up perfectly.
No, I mean, you don't want to belabor the point, but I mean, it's a reality that everybody in the industry has to deal with.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's important to acknowledge where everyone wants to run a clean operation, but there are some people that try to game the system. And that's why the Smart Safe really is a foolproof way to fully manage your cash.
Is the technology reliable? Does it ever go down?
It's extremely reliable. It does not go down. Where situations can happen is maybe a bill get jammed, but we have SOPs and processes in place to help you unjam the bill. And if anything happens, we have 24/7 customer support. And if that fails, then we actually have sent operators out to locations to fix it next business day. So it's very hard to break, to not work. And that's why we strongly encourage it for everyone.
How does it reduce human error, and does it potentially eliminate human error?
I would say it eliminates human error and also eliminates human cost from a lot of perspectives. So you got to think, one, you got to put a value on how much time are you spending with end of day reconciling? Are you physically counting cash? Once you count the cash, are you putting it into the safe? How reliable is the safe? Once the cash is in the safe, are you taking the cash to the bank? Once you're transporting the cash to the bank, that's a lot of manpower. That's a lot of hours that people are spending counting the cash, putting in the safe, and driving to the bank. And then also during all that time, were any bills dropped? Were any bills ripped? Um, did people put cash in their pocket? Which are actually things that we need to acknowledge. when the smart safe takes all that out of it, you
Mhm.
really do just take the cash, put it in the safe, count it, and rest easy at night.
No, I mean, a lifetime ago, I used to work at a cash store, and this technology would have just really revolutionized that, especially that journey to the bank, where it was just like, I
Oh,
mean, some of those trips, you are scared because you might be the only one that knows how much is in your car, but someone else might.
yeah, and that's an actual reality.
Yeah.
And there's a large stat that most people who do get robbed, it is an inside job
Hmm.
where if you have a smart safe, we're picking up the cat from the time that we show up to this facility and take possession of the cash. It is fully insured up to $5 million per pickup, and the smart safe cannot hold over $5 million. So that means every bill is insured, and it really takes a lot of the stress off these operators. Whether I know they have to worry about product being stolen, and they don't have to worry about their cash though. The cash is well taken care of.
So an operator decides to go with smart safe technology. What does it take to come online to get it installed in their facility and the training?
Yeah, great question. So essentially, they'll purchase a smart safe directly through Dama Financial. We will ship it out to them within a couple days, and then it'll be physically mounted into the ground, and we can do on a first or a second floor. And then training just takes less than an hour. So everyone has their own access code. You have people who have reporting and management tools. And then from there, they're good to go.
Are there any specifications in terms of the structural integrity of the area in order for it to be mounted? Like, are there any areas it can't go in?
The safe has to be mounted into concrete. Um, but besides that, we've installed smart safes all over. It does have to be in the back of an operation. Um, you don't want to deposit cash right in the main lobby, but it really doesn't have any limitations. We can put it anywhere.
Okay. And then what does the maintenance schedule look like?
The maintenance schedule is very simple. We provide the ongoing, just making sure that there's no bills or rip tears within the machine. But like I said, if there is any issues, we have an amazing customer support team that has handled every situation that you could ever think of.
Do they integrate with all point of sale systems?
The Smart Safe does not fully integrate with all point of sales. It is fully integrated with our banking platform, though. So when you log in, you can see all your cash deposits and everything from there. But we're also fronting that provisional credit. So it's more you're reconciling with the bank, and then the bank account compares with the point of sale system.
Are there any concerns regarding cybersecurity?
There's no concern over cybersecurity. We've been doing it. We've had the Smart Safe for almost 4 years now, and I've never had any hacks, any issues with that. So I'm very, very confident that's a very high quality product.
How'd you guys get in the smart safe business? Was it via acquisition? Is it a partnership?
Yeah, so it was a partnership, and this is our second Smart Safe partnership. So we work with a company called Keyson. They have an amazing team, an amazing product, and we're always looking for new products to help the licenses. Like we talked about in the beginning, there's so many tools that companies don't know they have access to. And so we found a smart safe, and then we upgraded Keysons, and it's been a phenomenal ride the entire time. So within that, it was more of a partnership, and then we've just been working with them to sell to over 100 all types of licenses.
Okay. What are some of your thoughts on how regulations might change? And, would changes in regulations mean changes in the, you know, needing a smart safe? Or, do you kind of foresee smart safe being something that these operators need in the long term?
Yeah, I think they're here to stay. So for a smart safe, and smart safes aren't only for cannabis. There are a lot of other industries that use smart safes. And so within different regulations, I think we'll see more and more people will be adapting smart safes because more people will be joining the digital era. And from a compliance or legislation perspective, I don't know why anyone would say no to a smart safe. It takes a risk factor out from counting cash. It takes a risk factor out from transporting the cash, and just creates a digital footprint where the cash goes into the safe and now it's electronically in your bank account.
Now, when you were getting involved in a professional finance career, did you ever believe that in 2025 you would still be talking about people joining the digital era?
It's so funny because and like I said, a lot of people don't know they have access to this. I'll never forget. I spoke with someone 3 years ago, and I was like, "Yeah, you have access to our online account center. You have access to our mobile app, dedicated relationship manager." And they're like, "If I need access to my bank account, I have to call them. Then they mail me a letter of my bank statement, and that's how I know what's going on." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And so it is sad to say a lot of banks. I will say now it is becoming more common, but a lot of banks still don't have the processes that normal businesses have. So there's still so many amazing tools that companies can get access to.
Hey, but when you go to that physical bank location, you get like the free bag of popcorn, and it's just
I,
a really good time.
yeah, and you know what? But then you gotta worry about the long line. You gotta worry about the long line, and you're gonna have a duffel bag full of cash at the end of the day. So
Yeah,
as sweet as the popcorn might be, it might be worth it to have the armored car come pick up the cash.
that does seem safer. That does seem safer. Um, you know, what are your thoughts on sort of the regulatory landscape? And I mean, do you foresee any movement when it comes to safer banking or any part of the industry anytime soon?
I think the market is ever evolving. Same with legislation, and I think anything can happen. At the end of the day, we want to provide products that are available today and not have to worry about the future. We've always evolved and make sure that we follow all the processes and guidelines in order to bank cannabis, and we're going to continue to do that at a high quality product offering. And so, whether it completely changes in a day, a year, or whatever, we always are going to be servicing. But it's a cannabis industry. Anything can happen, but we always know that everyone will be ready for anything, and we'll take care of it.
Well, ever since your professional career, it seems like you have that entrepreneurial itch. Do you foresee, is it cannabis banking for here and out, like the future for you, or do you have other interests out there?
Yeah. Cannabis banking here to stay. I love it. And it's really the people in the industry that make the difference. I mean, everyone wants the best. And what's great is the word of mouth. And so we have so many customers that have gotten my phone number, all my colleagues' phone numbers just from word of mouth. And so everyone wants to see other people succeed. And that's just what I love about this. It is sad that due to some higher taxes and other stuff, some businesses can shut down. But overall, everyone's so positive. Everyone wants the best out of each other. And so unless I hit the lottery, I'm here to stay.
When it comes to networking, what works best for you? Is it social media? Is it in-person events?
Yeah, I rely on mostly in-person events, cold calls, and partnering with associations. I do love associations. Just it's a great way for businesses to bounce ideas and networking, and you can meet actual license holders in person. So whether it's different happy hours, different breakfasts, different meetups, and it's also these new states opening up where states like Kentucky and Minnesota, they are getting their licenses. And a lot of people don't know that they can open up their bank account before they get open. And so it's all of just reaching out and casting your net as wide as it can and letting people know what options are out there.
So do you find yourself at Chiefs games or other events and you see somebody slinging ice and you're like, you're doing it all wrong?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. There are some better quality shaved ice out there, but You got to make sure you got the fresh block of ice. You can't be scooping it and shaving it yourself. You got to have a high quality machine with some high quality ice.
Okay. Okay. I just, with small kids, I see the shaved ice truck come pulling up and I'm like, oh my goodness. I know that there's nothing but shaved ice and tiger blood in my future.
Oh, tiger blood is awesome. I probably have way too much tiger blood in my lifetime, but no, it's the same thing like cannabis. Anyone getting a large snow cone freaking loves it. It makes their entire day, especially when you're drenched in sweat at a track meet, at a Taylor Swift concert. You want a snow cone to cool you down.
No, hey, I really do appreciate you taking the time, man. But before we get out of here, is there anything else that you want to make sure the Cannabis Equipment News audience either knows about yourself or your work with LeafLink?
Yeah, so overall, I will say just keep in touch, and we want to work with you guys over the next year to let you know all the meeting product offerings we're going to be rolling out. So the LeafLink acquisition was amazing because they really do value the Dama Financial name, brand, and product offering. And I'm confident that over the next year, it's going to be a completely new product. We're going to be a lot more states, a lot more licenses, and a very stronger product. So I'm excited. Hopefully we'll be allowed back and can't wait to show you what's in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited as well, and an open invitation, Charlie.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, David.
All right, before we get out of here, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You could also help us out a lot by leaving the podcast a positive review on whatever platform you use. If you want to email the podcast, you can reach me at david@cannabisequipmentnews.com with email the podcast in the subject line. You can also subscribe to our daily newsletter. Make sure you get it delivered to your inbox first. For Charlie Weiler, banking sales manager with LeafLink, I'm David Manti. This is the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast, and we will see you next week.
Welcome to the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast.